guys, and welcome back to Firefall Live. It's another show, another day, another dollar. It's not really another dollar. We don't get paid for this.
We don't?
We got a great show though for you. We're gonna do our normal development news, community news. We've got a great guest, Dave Nikdel, aka Ogapo, one of our server programmers, will be joining us on the show. That's really awesome. But as always, I'm joined here with Tony Reyes, aka ThaCheez, and Frank Lettieri, aka FadedPez.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, como stai?
Oh,
Ciao Bella.
ciao Bella.
That's what I say to you.
Yeah, you do. I don't know what that means.
Hello, beautiful.
Frank, I didn't.
You didn't know what Ciao Bella meant? Okay, anyways, moving on.
Well, that's weird.
So we've got some great development updates. We're actually, milestone's been kicked off. Everybody's got on teams now.
Yes.
We've got some great stuff going on, some really awesome plans. I'm not going to go into all of them just yet because I want to make sure I got permission to talk about some of the things we're going to talk about. But one of the things that...
You have my permission.
Well, I'm going to talk about my team is going to be focused on matchmaking. So
Ooh.
for all of you guys worried about matchmaking, we got a team dedicated to that this milestone. So we're going to work on balancing teams and making sure matchmaker works, reworking the challenge system. So I'm probably going to be reaching out to Vex Gaming and Bronodon and you guys to really work out the challenge system and figure out how we can make that better. So that's really awesome. But the thing that you know all of you guys have been waiting for, and this is huge news, is the PvP PvE split. They're deep into creating all that happening, and this affects kind of the entire game, really. So
Yeah.
what we're going to do is, because Xenogenic and John ThaCheez, aka Crisis, who are the two main designers on the combat team, couldn't be here today. So what they did was they actually wrote up a blog to talk about the changes that are coming for the PvP side of things. So the split affects PvP and PvP pretty drastically.
PvP and
PvE.
Sorry, did I say PvP, PvP?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, it affects both open world and PvP pretty drastically. So what they wrote the blog about was mostly about the PvP stuff. And so just to give you a quick recap, we're going to post this after the show, along with our recap and the show notes and everything else. But I just want to kind of cover some of the highlights. Xeno goes into detail about the design decisions about it, why we're making some of these changes for those of you that are concerned about, didn't we just change things? We just made the tier system. We just did. Why are we making these changes? So basically, what's going to happen for PvP is that there's no more crafted gear in PvP.
Right.
So that was one of the big unbalancing factors, is that there was still a lot of vertical progression in PvP due to the fact that people could craft their gear and come into PvP. So crafted gear is gone, and everything is going to be a set level of gear. Across the board. So the same gear I have is the same gear that Frank has.
Now this is just for a home gang, right?
This is PvP only. This is this is arena-based PvP.
Yeah.
So open world PvP is not affected by this, even though we're not working on open world PvP yet. Open world PvP will be a separate issue. So when we say PvP, what we're talking about right now is just the competitive PvP. Is something going on? Okay.
What's happening?
I think
Behind the scenes, people are like running around.
Someone's
making
breaking
sure-
in.
There's a lot of movement.
They're trying to steal Tony.
I'm
Protect
not
yourself,
leaving
Tony.
this couch.
So what that means is that each battle frame. So right now we have 15 battle frames, right? So we have the core battle frames: the assault, the recon, biotech, dreadnought, and I'm missing one, engineer. And then among those, I know
We were just letting you hang out today. Yes,
Thank you, appreciate
continue.
that.
Go-
Thanks, guys.
go
You guys
ahead.
are just nodding. Yeah. Not gonna fill in the blanks there.
You know,
we
I
have-
forgot the exact same class when we were doing the
Amongst
pre-push
those,
yesterday.
we then have the Firecat and the Tiger Claw and the Mammoth and the Rhino that are the tier 2 versions of those. So the idea would be is that in PvP, each one of those battle frames has a very unique set of gear associated with them. And so Xeno outlines what a battle frame now consists of: is a unique weapon, 3 unique synergistic abilities, so abilities that work together really well, that are different than another battle frame. So a Firecat and a Tiger Claw won't share any abilities. The Assault won't share any abilities with those. And one of the things that they're really working on right now is a unique passive effect for some of the higher level battle frames. So that you have this unique play style. By choosing a Firecat, I'm actually changing the way I'm going to play just generically with a passive effect. So each one of those battle frames will have something unique associated with them. The example he uses here is like a Raptor Recon, for instance, will have a electrical charge that he builds up by making shots. And then once he's built up 3 electrical charges, he can do something special with that. Maybe something special with his abilities or something special.
Right, it empowers his abilities and stuff like that.
So every battle frame that you've unlocked through open world by gaining experience and moving forward through the technology trees and unlocking that battle frame, you now unlock, once that's in your garage, now you have that available to you in your battle frame terminal. So when you go to battle frame terminal, you'll have a tiger claw in there. You're not going to have multiple tiger claws. You're just going to have the one tiger claw, one fire cat, one mammoth, one rhino. Did we go down?
No, we're good.
I'm hearing, there's a lot of, we're offline right now.
Yep.
Or is the audio good? Because there was a lot of talk about audio problems. Audio's good. Community, we're back. Audio's fine.
They hear us.
We hear
Youngblood hears us.
Youngblood hears me. Well, that's all that matters, Youngblood. As long as you can hear me.
Wow.
That's right.
Give us a break, guys. We've done 8 shows. This is the first one we've had issues with. Let's calm down.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, well, I think we're back, so I'm going to keep going. You guys keep spamming the channel and let me know if we're not back or not. The other thing that's associated with this is the fact that each battle frame is now, they're not split up by tiers. It's one tier across the board. So even though in the open world you may be unlocking advanced battle frames, that battle frame in PvP will be balanced with all other battle frames. So PvE in open world may have some vertical progression, etc. with it that's still being worked out, and we'll talk about that more later.
Yep.
But in PvP, everybody is equal. So they're just having unique abilities and unique weapons and passive effects and other things to make your character unique.
Cool.
So that should be pretty awesome. Again, we'll have the full blog. It goes into much more detail than what I just covered.
Yeah.
But feel free to read that after the show. And if you have any questions, please ask them. I know Xeno and Crisis will be happy to answer any questions you have. And then this is really just focused on the PvP side of things. Cameron is one of the other designers that's leading up the team for just progression overall.
Yep.
So he's got that's quite a big team that he's got going on there.
He's very stressed.
And
he's
excited. He's excited.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool stuff coming.
Yeah.
So we'll talk to him a little bit later. I know he wants to start introducing stuff on the forums and through blogs, and I'd love to get him on the show here to talk more about that.
That'd be great.
Talking about crafting, progression, and open world changes that are coming to ThaCheez and other things.
Yep.
So for now, we're just talking about the PvP side of things, and we'll have that blog posted later. So be sure to check that out.
Later.
Cool.
Soon. He didn't say soon. He said later.
I didn't say later. And when I say later, I just mean like later today.
Soon. It's coming.
Oh, I'm sorry. There's a drinking game, right?
There's a drinking game.
Right, there's a drinking game.
Soon.
Oh, boy.
Soon.
I'm going to be watching.
And hopefully you guys all die of alcohol poisoning.
I'm going to be watching the ThaCheez stream after that.
You cannot say, I hope you all die from alcohol poisoning.
That's what you get.
I'll be watching ThaCheez stream.
Please don't take 27 shots right now.
Did you count those, really?
Frank,
Did you? I mean,
I'm sorry, what were you doing? Lollygagging? I was counting.
I was lollygagging.
This is an important
That's what
drinking
I do. I
game
lollygag.
for the community.
It's not that important.
Okay, and then moving on to another topic. We're also the skill shot contest. We're still reviewing some of the videos and the screenshots for those to get those going. We have got some great entries. There's been some really funny ones, some really cool ones.
Yep.
And we're just going through to pick the winners for those.
Yeah, we're still looking at them. So like, I think one of my favorites so far though is like the sheer skill it takes to stand there when someone puts a tiki torch down and dance and just like not do anything. Oh my God, the skill involved in that.
The sarcasm is flowing so hard
Love
right
it.
now.
Yeah. Sometimes I can't tell.
I think that might no.
And I have to really like look at him like, what is he? Does he really believe this right now?
Come on.
Oh, he took
Really?
the glasses off.
Whoa.
Whoa. Oh.
Deal with it. Bam.
Yeah.
Deal with it.
Wow. He pulled a CSI Miami on me right now. He's about ready to drop a pun.
Yeah.
Sarcasm. Deal with it.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're still looking at those, so we'll announce winners probably next week.
Yeah, probably next week we'll announce them.
There's a lot of videos.
Yeah. So apologies to anyone that didn't get their video approved. We were trying to do this as quickly as possible. We went through. I think we're done approving them all now, right?
We're done approving them all. We have like 2 pages of videos to go through.
Okay, so we're going through. So if it wasn't approved, there was probably something wrong with the video, such as like using an audio that you shouldn't have been using, or some copyrighted stuff. So apologies if you didn't get approved. We'll have more contests in the future, so keep your eye out.
Yep.
But that's it for kind of development news for right now. I'd really like to get more information out to you guys about the milestone, and I'm trying to work with VP of Development James McCauley to make sure that we're releasing the proper information. So look forward to that, because there's some cool stuff coming up this milestone.
Yeah.
And I think that's it for development news. What do we got going on in the community though?
So we still got some more Bane Claw events popping up. Of course, you see them popping up all over the place. If you want to organize your Bane Claw events, be sure to hit up banebusters.com. The guys over there will help you out with that stuff.
Yeah, so that's still be run by Scarth and his crew.
Yep.
Great.
I got to get in one of those.
You still haven't killed Bane Claw?
No,
we'll get there.
I've killed one.
Okay.
I've killed one,
we'll get there. Don't worry.
That's hey,
chill.
Hush,
You know,
hush,
there's
Frank. Hush,
chill.
hush. Move
There's
on.
also the Mustang League. Oh, I got you.
Just-
There's also the Mustang League.
I'm so confused right now.
it's a couch joke.
It's a couch joke.
okay.
Couch only?
You're not on the couch.
It's couch
Sorry.
only.
Sorry.
So when Dave sits down here, he's automatically in the joke.
Gotcha.
We also
Sorry,
have
Dave.
We also have the Mustang League. So
Yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
named after the home gang hero Mustang, this league aims to bring structured competitive environment to all those in New Eden searching for glory and perhaps the coveted Aegis Cup. So basically,
Are you guys actually have a cup? That'd be really cool.
That'd be really cool.
If you guys made a real trophy,
cup.
I would love it. That'd be awesome.
make a cup.
No, like paper
But
mache.
so
make a
basically
cup.
what this is like a league
Yeah, it's like a little league
competition.
with
So
like
it's
seasons.
basically scheduled matches. You'll
It
go
would
up
be
against
so
each other.
awesome if they had like bowling shirts. I'd love it. I mean, I'm just.
We already have them.
I'm a fan of bowling shirts.
We got ours.
Anyways, moving on.
Yeah, it's just I wonder like how like with the season starting in February, I wonder like if our changes coming in the middle of that are going to affect.
Probably
that.
will. I mean,
Hopefully you guys can adjust with that. But
yeah, I mean that's going to definitely have some changes. So be aware that in the middle of your tournament, that's going to happen.
yeah. But, also, we have the 8-Bit Tavern, of course, having the Smash and Bash in March.
Smash and bash.
Be sure to sign up for that. We have a couple teams signed up so far. I think I'm still considering we should put together a Red 5
Dude,
team.
let's do it. I'm in. I'm so on that team.
Let's do it.
I've been practicing.
Practicing.
Yeah.
Scan hammering.
I mean, if I don't know if you knew this, but I was pretty terrible. So I've been trying to get better, and
At pressing 4.
it's hard. I have chubby fingers. I can't.
Oh yeah.
Right.
That makes total sense.
Right.
I'm not discussing this with you right now. I'm practicing. Move along.
And also we have the Melding Cast has made its return
Yeah.
last week. So that's hosted by Raijin Superior and Sambasti, and they had Phenos on as their guest. This week, Limelight Esports has a special announcement, so be sure to tune in at 5 p.m. Pacific on Sunday.
How intriguing.
Where do they turn into that? What is that
you
on
can
Brana on
actually-
TV?
Yeah, it's on Brought It on TV.
Okay, so twitch.tv/Brana on TV.
Yeah.
Definitely check that out.
So that's where we're at in community news.
Great. As always, if you guys have any more things that you're working on in the community and you want us to share that with the rest of the community, we'd be happy to do so. Just feel free to email us or grab us on the forums. You can always send it in to community@red5studios.com or PM any one of us, and we'll try to get it in as quickly as possible. So Xeno is now watching the stream, so now I'm going to talk a lot about how he's working on bad things and he doesn't know what he's doing. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh,
kidding.
calm
We
down.
love
you.
Whoa, settle down.
Wow.
I felt my phone buzz like 10 times when I was talking. I'm sure he's texting me like
probably
crazy.
it.
He's like, "What are you? Oh my God, you just screwed up what I went. Oh God, no, you're all wrong. It's all wrong."
Oh no! Now he's coming in.
He's going all caps.
You summoned the Kraken.
He's gonna get
Get out
banned.
the way. Get out the way. Move. Okay. Anyways, I think that's it for our news segments.
Yep.
So we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll have Dave Nikdel, aka Ogapo, to talk about server programming and what that actually means. So
Great.
we'll be right back.
All right, I think it's about time we got around to telling you about Firefall's premise. As we mentioned in the first of these videos, a lot of the story is going to be player-driven. As such, it's difficult to guess where the story will go once the game starts, but we can fill you in on the world you'll be stepping into. Like most things about Firefall, the setting and the narrative are a little different. Many of the elements should seem pretty familiar to you, but they're playing around with those conventions in some interesting ways. One of the things we've liked about Firefall from the start was that these decisions weren't just afterthoughts. They were a conscious design effort to tie the narrative and the mechanics, the world building and the world itself, together. It's always nice to see a studio that doesn't do the typical thing of... Orcs and elves? Yep, works for me. Let's get started. So let's talk about the setting. The place? Earth. The time? The intermediate future. It's a world that's been ravaged by two major calamities. Earth's population has been decimated, and then driven to the very edge of extinction. And yet, this isn't your usual grim future setting. Yes, it is an apocalypse, to be sure, but it's not the road or anything. Firefall asks the question, what if we dealt with a catastrophe of this scale rationally? Or at least as rationally as we were able to? What if society didn't devolve into backstabbing outlaw gangs and roving cannibals? What if things stayed as normal as possible in a world under siege? Now, I love me a good Fallout-style apocalypse story, and I'll reread The Postman any day, but this reversal of the standard trope is a rather nice change of pace, and it actually creates a much more vibrant palette for the Firefall story than the apocalypse cliches we're used to. And speaking of a vibrant palette, this setting allows Firefall to escape the gunmetal gray and modern war brown we've come to associate with space and shooters, respectively. The game begins in Brazil, with all the vivacity and life you might expect from such a setting. More, in fact, but that's something you'll find out when you jump in. Okay, so what about the story itself? You've seen some screenshots of people dashing around in powered armor, but why? What's going on in Firefall? Well, a lot more than we can cover in 3 minutes, and we wouldn't want to spoil the surprises anyway, but here's a quick summary. The story begins well before the player steps into a mechanized suit. It really begins with the eponymous event, the Firefall. A few centuries from now, Earth is hit with a cataclysmic event, a meteor strike of unheard-of proportions. Much of the world's population is destroyed in the days of raining fire caused by an enormous meteorite breaking apart in the upper atmosphere and peppering the globe with its fragments. At first, it looks like this calamity is going to push man back into the Dark Ages, but then something miraculous is found amongst the ruins. Crystite. Turns out, the meteor was made of an alien mineral, a mineral which would come to be called crystite, which turned out to be an unimaginable energy source, an energy source which would dwarf anything found on Earth. This nearly unlimited energy causes a renaissance amongst the survivors of the Firefall. Manual labor is nearly eliminated. Manufacture is replaced by molecular printing. Humanity spreads out and starts to rebuild the ecosystem of the globe with advances in genetics and biology. And finally, man looks to the stars. We know crystite must have come from somewhere, and so we as a species begin to track it. Humanity is able to trace crystite's unique signature to a planet not too distant from Earth. We begin by sending ships there through conventional means, but even a nearby solar system is unimaginably far in human terms, so we decide to try something else, something a bit more bold, something truly in the spirit of this new renaissance. We try to move faster than light. The Arclight, the greatest ship ever constructed, a ship the size of cities, is built to make the first interstellar jump. It's powered by an incredible reserve of crystite, perhaps the highest concentration mankind's ever assembled. But as the jump begins, something goes horribly wrong. The ship itself starts to burn as parts of it are enveloped by a strange cloud. Wherever the Arclight was meant to go, and however it was meant to get there, it instead lets something from the other side through. The ship itself careens out of control, on a crash course straight towards Rio de Janeiro. In its final moments, Admiral Nostromo, the commanding officer on board, slams it into Fortaleza instead, in an attempt to minimize casualties. With the city of Fortaleza itself nearly destroyed, and the greatest effort of humanity sitting as a smoking wreck in the waters off the coast, humanity finds itself beset by a new, even greater tragedy. The strange gas that the Arclight brought with it begins to envelop the globe. All communication with areas it's subsumed are lost, and even local communication is disrupted. And this is where you pop in. The surviving Admiral Nostromo has declared martial law around Fortaleza. Strange creatures are coming out of the fog, now called the Melding, to attack what remains of Fortaleza. Right now, it seems like the massive reserves of crystite on the Arclight are somehow keeping the Melding at bay, but every day the attacks from the creatures pouring forth from the Melding get worse, and every day the fog rolls a little bit closer to town. No one's in full panic mode yet, but something's gotta be done. You have been recruited to help safeguard what's left of humanity, as well as to collect crystite to hold the Melding at bay. But what makes this story compelling isn't just the setup. It's the questions it leaves you, the player, to answer. Is this the end of humanity? Are there other surviving towns out there? What is the Melding? And who are the strange beings that come out of this all-consuming fog? What is crystite? How does it function? Why isn't the Melding overrunning Fortaleza? Is there any way to drive the Melding back and restore Earth? And what exactly happened to the Arclight anyway? And where did the Firefall really come from? It's a story built around questions and mysteries for the player to unravel, and that participatory element makes it far more compelling. This is what makes it need a game to be told properly, rather than being better suited to a book. We've seen the story documents. It's all there, waiting to be unearthed by players living the narrative of this game. Of course, all of this is dependent on Red 5's ability to execute on this idea, but so far it's looking pretty good. And this setup, coupled with the player-driven nature of the world, is one of the things that I'm most excited about for Firefall. Fingers remain crossed. See you next time.
Welcome back to Firefall Live. We are joined with Dave Nikdel, aka Ogapo, one of our server programmers. How you doing, Dave?
Actually, my official position is Kiru's personal bodyguard. But
who? Kiru's?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I moonlight as a server programmer.
You moonlight as a server programmer.
Yeah.
It's just an easy
in the
job.
off hours.
Yeah. Doesn't take much time.
No.
No.
That's why I got into it, for the hours.
Well, so speaking of it, how did you get into programming? Let's go all the way back to Little Dave. And by Little Dave, I mean when you were only 6'2".
So 10th grade.
So 10th grade around. What got you into programming?
Well, I was
Rather than like bashing people.
Yeah. All the girls.
Girls? Yeah, chicks dig programmers.
Yeah.
What school did you go to?
I thought it was programming classes. No, I used to write calculator games on my calculator in math class.
Like TI-82?
Yeah. My first program was a Mandelbrot set. That was cool. Yeah.
No idea what that is.
Yeah, it's a fractal.
Awesome. I went to geometry and then stopped. So
it uses complex numbers. They're awesome.
Yeah. Awesome. So that got you interested in it then?
Yeah. Well, math, calculators, computers. It's a slippery slope.
Did you go to college for a degree?
Yeah. I got my degree from University of Central Florida. Go Knights! And I graduated with computer science. Almost had a physics minor, but minors aren't really good for anything. And I needed like 3 more classes, and it was going to push me another semester.
Whoa! You need minors. How are you going to get coal?
Yeah. Yes, I was almost a minor, but then at the last minute, I decided to go with computer programming.
This show just took a turn for the worse.
Sorry, I had to go for that one.
Yeah.
So right out of college, what did you do?
Well,
and by the way, you're pretty much our first guest that actually went to college, left college, and is doing something that they left college for.
Yeah, I know. It's weird how that worked out.
Because both Kevin and Justin dropped out of college.
Justin hasn't been a guest yet.
Well,
jeez.
He doesn't count.
He's been a guest in our hearts.
Okay. Well, yes. Every week.
Anyways, so right after leaving college, what did you do?
Well, I was working for just a regular software company. We made the self-check-in kiosks at the airports. And despite that being amazingly cool and fulfilling, I thought that maybe video games might be a little bit more fun to work on.
Oh my God, now they can do it by last name!
Yeah. But actually, to be honest, the people were awesome. So I don't want anybody, if anybody is actually watching this and used to work with me, I actually liked working there a lot. But I really wanted to work in video games since I started playing with computers. So finally sent out tons and tons of resumes, and finally got a call back from Red 5 right when they were starting up. And
so what employee number are you originally?
I think I was like 13. Something like that, yeah.
This is back in 2007? Or
6 or 7. 7. It was 7, yeah, because they had just started this in like late 6.
Yeah. So 2007,
yeah.
You come in as the 13th employee.
Yeah, packed up my truck and moved to Beverly.
Great. Oh, that's a long commute from Beverly Hills.
Yeah. It's from Orlando, Florida.
Well, sure. Yeah. So what were you doing? What do you do for the Red 5 now?
So I'm a server programmer, which is very vague.
Yeah.
I wear many hats, I suppose you could say. I've worked on a lot of different things. I've worked on the UI a long time ago. I've worked on the netcode a while back, although Swarley does most of that these days.
Yeah.
Helping him fight lag and the forces of evil. They never give me a cape. I asked for a cape.
You know how much fabric would require for a cape?
That's true. It's budgetary reasons. Or at least a classy tweed jacket or something. Most recently I've been working on the encounter system, the scripted encounter system that the designers have been using to make all of our newer content.
Yeah, so what are you kind of working on this milestone that's kind of really big? We were talking about it before.
Just
the server scalability and
we've been trying to get our servers have been designed to be multi-threaded for quite a while. We're finally getting around to
those that don't know, layman's term, multi-threaded means using multiple CPUs to.
Somebody said I'm responsible for getting things off the top shelf. That would be funny if it hadn't just happened yesterday.
So multi-threading means that we're going to use as many CPUs as we can to spread load across multiple cores.
Yeah, so we host in Amazon EC2, and most of the servers there, they have like 8 cores or 9 cores. And for some of the maps, like we'll run multiple processes per box, so that it takes advantage of parallelism that way.
Yeah.
But for big ones like New Eden and pretty much all the open world maps, we need to take advantage of all the processors. So all of the simulation objects on the server, like your character is a simulation object, a vehicle would be a simulation object. They're all written to be self-contained, so we can kind of farm them out into different threads. And then on the occasions that they have to communicate with one another, they use message passing and other thread-safe sort of techniques.
So currently, what's going on with those servers? Are we not? I mean, you said we've been multi-threaded for a long time. What's the difference between?
Well, we had a couple of systems that we were using that weren't multi-threaded friendly, and so we had to replace those in order to be able to turn it on. We've actually been running with it internally for a month or so. And Rob Canada's been really instrumental in getting that rolling as well.
Yeah.
And tests are looking good. The performance is way up, and we should be able to host a lot more people on one instance once it's out into production. So.
So what else is required for that? So now that we've got multi-threading, we had to completely change a lot of our other systems that utilize. So you talk about like zone logic and encounter systems.
We had our first go at encounters, which I don't know. People probably don't know the general I don't think it's a general term, but encounters is what we call like our gameplay scripting. Like so.
So a melding tornado would be
a melding tornado is an encounter.
A broken down LGV would be an encounter, self-contained encounter.
Even the Thumper is technically an encounter, even though it doesn't use the new encounter system because we made it before that came online. But yeah, the idea is like some piece of content that can be instantiated and then just sort of find locations to spawn its stuff, and then monitor what players are doing and respond to that. And so we actually went with this was our version 2. We had a better idea for what we were looking for, and we were trying to get it to be multi-threaded friendly. So we went with a scripted system, and so now all of the encounters are actually game objects, so they run in separate threads independently. And because it's scripted, all their designers now can make changes and then hot reload it without having to start the zone over. And it's Lua, so which is an embedded programming language. So we get to share some of the.
So Lemon King's going to start hacking our encounters?
If he had access to our encounter editor, he probably could sit down and start making them. Yeah.
No.
But yeah, the choice to use the same language that we use for the UI is intentional, so that we can.
Cross.
Yeah, it also means the UI guys can help out the designers who are trying to learn Lua. So we have just more people that can be asked for questions and stuff. Less bottlenecks.
So I mean, it sounds like this is a huge for server performance because now we can increase the number of players per server, which is great because now we get fewer servers and we can control that a lot better. But we had to basically scrap all the previous work we had with encounters.
Yeah, unfortunately, we weren't able to get that to work with the multi-threading. We had some bugs in there that we weren't able to get out.
And so now we're redoing all that work in a much more robust system.
Yeah, I mean, people have been pretty pleased with it, I think. Being able to hot reload things without restarting the server has been huge. The designers will just they make a change, they reload it, they try the encounter again. And our system, the script doesn't have to handle cleaning up an NPC when it goes away. It's all associated with it. So if they say reset, it's like we wipe the board for them automatically, which can always that's frequently like a gotcha for people that are programming is trying to do cleanup properly. And so we just make it so they don't have to deal with it.
Well, so there's another major project that you're working on right now, kind of in conjunction with Pele, which is
Red-Handed.
So for those of you that have been watching for a while, or been around for a while, know that Red-Handed is our anti-cheat system that is basically a separate client that watches what you're doing in order to try to prevent cheats. And so that has kind of been implemented, but not fully implemented.
Yeah, we've had the bits for it out on the server for a little while, or on in live for a while, just to make sure that there weren't any crazy crashes. And we fixed a few bugs with it and stuff like that. But it's been kind of mostly running dormant. But we're getting ready to be able to turn it on, and then there's going to be a period of just kind of collecting data and seeing what we get, because we expect to get a lot of false positives at first, and then we'll start whitelisting things that we know are okay, and then once we get the noise level down a little bit, then we'll start talking about
So now, is red-handed a tool that just goes out there and automatically bans people for cheating, or how does it? What is the goal of red-handed?
Well, so the goal is to monitor what's going on. One of our first tenets of when we were designing it is number one, we didn't want to collect any like personal information, so we're really trying hard to make sure that everything is hashed and stuff like that. But on top of that, we don't really believe in like automating something like a ban, because like that's pretty major to somebody and that can be a bad customer experience. But we want to watch and see what's going on, and then we can do bans after the fact. The other thing that gets you is that if you're somebody writing a cheat and you aren't sure if you're being detected by red-handed, and it's not going to ban you immediately, so you may have been detected and caught, and you got away with it for like an hour or two, or maybe a day, and then right after you get the ban hammer, and you're not sure if it was like this one thing that you tried or something else that got you caught, or whatever.
In the future, once we have like known cheats, are those going to be blacklisted so that they can't ever run again, or how does that work?
Once we have, so there are different ways that red-handed identifies like naughty behavior.
Right.
Some of them are heuristics, and those are mostly reported, and others are things like actual pattern matching, where it's like, oh, I know that you're running this thing right here. Pattern matching and like things like matching those patterns or not running red-handed will probably be at least insta kicks, probably insta bans too. So those are things that we can be with very high confidence say that like this person's monkeying around, and we'll ban them first, and if they feel like they were mistreated, they can talk to customer support. But we've got pretty good evidence at that point.
So when can we expect to see red-handed live in clients?
You'll never see it. It sees you.
It's a ninja.
It's a ninja. Yes. We're pushing out a build with the next major patch soon, TM, but probably.
Does it wait for another branch? Is it going to be that long?
Yeah, it'll be the next branch. Yeah.
So probably a little bit while for those of you.
No, actually won't. It won't. It's going to be in the next. It's going to be in the next one.
It's just been checked into beta.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, it's not really a user-facing feature so much.
No, I'm interested to start looking at the data.
You'll start seeing redhanded.exe in the taskbar.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm more looking for. So for those of you watching your process list, we have dump truck, we have Firefall client, we have Awesominium, and then we have
Awesominium. I think it was renamed to Firefall process or something like that. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
We should probably label everything with some kind of Firefall or something. So you can expect to see that
ban
soon.
First, next question later.
I mean, so far we've still got the same deal out there with cheaters to say if you've got a hack that you use, send it to us, and if we confirm that it is a new way of doing a cheat, then we will give you $500. So if you guys do find cheats, you don't have to necessarily even be the programmer of it. You find some site out there that's selling a cheat, send it to us, and we'll
narc them.
Narc on him.
That's
we'll
right.
get $500. So, that's what else? Anything else that you're working on lately? That we can talk about.
Did
you ever get a text message back from James?
No, I didn't. I don't know. But
so there are some other things that you're working on then that will hopefully have some pretty cool circumstances later.
Yeah, I've been working with Clancy on the Chosen Warfront team for a while. That's been coming along really well. We've been. We're really pleased with how the people. A lot of our feedback. He'll probably talk about this, but a lot of our feedback was that the attacks were kind of chaotic. So we've got them. It's a lot more. They kind of will take a point to like come in at, and now they'll like kind of branch out from that and create a war front. And we've actually have it set up with the scripting system so that each like chosen general has its own script. So like you could, when it starts the attack, it may like randomly choose a general to attack you, or maybe even based on what the players have been doing, and they may have different strategies and stuff like that. I mean, when we first come out, we've got one general done, so that'll be a random set of one. But it's set up so that we can kind of swap things out, and like one guy might be really big on flanking, or might go straight for Copacabana, or something along those lines. Looking forward to seeing that.
Kind of going back to just programming in general, what advice would you give to somebody wanting to get in the game industry and wanting to do it through programming?
Well, I mean, really the best thing you can do is just program all the time. Like, I mean, like if you want to get in the game industry, make games. it's there. Especially these days, you can make a game at home, and if you have good ideas, or if you don't, team up with somebody who does, and if you're just literally, I want to. I
don't think there's a game player in the world that doesn't think they have the greatest.
Everybody's got a good idea. Yeah, everybody's a designer.
10 right now, man.
So I suppose the other thing is finish your projects. Because if you're
she'll follow through.
Yeah, she'll follow through. And when you're applying to a company, if you don't have gameplay experience, that's one of the hardest things in the world is to get into the game industry without prior game experience. It's very kind of incestuous industry in that respect, and so. Being able to show completed projects, especially personal projects that you did in your own time and put your own blood, sweat, and tears into, that's big. And then also like just polish level, like if it's your personal project, finish it all the way to where it's a quality piece of software. Keep your scope small so you can actually do that with one person. But
so for a programmer, what does polish mean for?
Well, I mean,
obviously your graphics probably won't be super great. And
I can give you an example. So, I don't know that this got me my job at Red 5, but I happen to have one of my more.
I think we
recent
were
products.
just afraid to say no.
Yeah, well, I was on the phone though, so I haven't quite figured out how to reach through the phone and strangle Mark. I made a mod for WoW that would let you play with an Xbox controller, and so it's called WoW 360. And it was definitely my seedless watermelon.
And actually, you did the same thing for Firefall. You were pretty much the guy leading the charge of.
I've been trying to keep it up. Yeah. I like it. I like playing on my couch. I mean, I know it's not the best way to play competitively, but there's something to be said for kicking back on the couch and playing on the TV, I think. Okay. But that's integrated in the game, obviously. This was almost a hack. I was surprised I didn't get busted by Warden, but basically it moved the mouse around and would right click for you when you would move the thumbsticks, so it would move the camera and stuff, right? And and then there was this. It had a UI mod that went with it, so you could do key combos, and so you'd do fighter game style, left, right, and then it would cast Fireball or something like that.
That's pretty awesome. That's pretty crazy.
So. So I mean, it was just a fun project, and it was one of those things where even if they did, I was talking to Mark who worked on WoW, and I'm sure he probably was like, why do you have this? What is the point of this? But at the same time, it shows you can finish something, you can make something work, and it didn't crash when you started running it, and exactly. It looked decent, and that sort of stuff is the polish that I'm talking about. So.
Well, great. I think that does it for our questions, and we really loved having you. So for those of you who don't know, Ogapo actually works remotely, so he was out here just for the past couple weeks helping us out, but he works in North Carolina, where he lives with his wife and new baby.
Shout out to Melanie and Eric. Hi.
So you're headed back home this weekend, right?
Yeah, heading back Saturday. Yep.
So thank you very much for joining us on Firefall Live.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll talk to you online as always. But thank you very much. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll do our discussion topic and do you even art, bro? So we'll be right back.
Bro.
Welcome to Firefall Fest.
6 days of extreme Firefall streaming here.
Unscripted, hot Firefall beta action.
Yeah.
Today is all about Athene and Reyes.
Thanks a lot for inviting me to this event.
Will Wheaton and Felicia Day here.
Today we really wanted to bring Team Unicorn into the office.
We've got Sean Plott, aka Day 9, with us, Dylan and Traveler from Household Hacker.
1, 2, 3.
Complexity.
CNanners and Mr. Sark from YouTube Fame.
Yes.
I'm DJ Wheat, joined by the rest of the Live on 3 crew.
I'm James Portnow from Extra Credits.
Nathan Fillion and Allison Hayslip. What's up? What's happening?
We are embarking upon a very important quest. Is this quest? What mode is this?
You're in quest mode. You're in quest mode.
What class are you, by the way?
Jamaican. I don't know.
Oh, no. No, I have bandits for you.
Bandits?
Bandits. Bad guys.
Kill that guy. Listen, you all saw it. He shot me first.
And it's a huge region.
You win a shirt.
You get a shirt for Tony Ray Sparkles.
You get a shirt. Everybody gets a shirt. Yeah. We don't have that many shirts, so not everybody gets a shirt.
No.
You can't run from me, Fillion.
You can run, but you can't glide.
Oh, sweat rag incoming. Hit me, bro. Boom. Ha. Hoo. Ha. Quick. Done. Yes. You're the man. Wow. I'm the man. You're the man. Sweat rag.
You're losing really bad right now, Athene. It's 3-0 on my screen.
Did you put God mode on them?
Kill nerd! Let's go spell up our squad! Oh,
Nice.
We're gonna finish off Trimatch.
Oh,
Team
nice.
Complexity asking for something amazing.
Our starting is so good. We just
Is it?
We come on.
I'm not prepared.
My arrogance is stepping in. I'm in the danger zone. I'm backing out. I'm pulling out.
2 minutes after you fire.
Oh God! Oh, I didn't get out of the way.
Allison, make sure you drop your turrets.
Oh my gosh, that's all I've been doing.
Again, turn
Look,
right
there's
now,
one of my
right now,
turrets.
Come on, Allison.
Oh my gosh, you're stressing me out. Oh, I stopped him.
Oh, we stopped him together. Yes. Take down Superior.
Oh, I got him! I got him!
Take it, take the point.
I don't think I killed a single person.
What did you guys think about Firefall? What would you like to see?
You guys are setting a really nice example for other gaming developers.
If you're not going to do something that's really different from Warcraft, why bother? And this is so different from that.
Yeah, it's totally different.
It's sort of that to compare it to another game, you get a little of that Skyrim vibe where you walk out and you're like, I'm gonna get up there.
And if they manage to do what they're setting out to, then they're gonna break some exciting new ground for gaming.
I like the unlocks. It's like, tech tree type stuff.
You guys are totally concentrating on the dancing right now.
They are.
I know.
Sorry, yeah. When someone is like, what do you want to see in a spectator mode? I'm going to be like, have you played Firefall yet? The game is like coming out, it's free to play, and these tools exist. I think that you guys are pushing what other developers and companies need to be doing.
Come inside, and you will see Firefall on my PC.
Okay. All right, now we're on the floor. Why are we on the floor? No, this is not jazzercise.
Welcome back to Firefall Live. I love that Marjorie's count is always like 2 seconds off. Light comes on, it's like, no idea. I'm like, I'm gonna go when the light comes on because we have lights now, and it's awesome.
They can't count.
Wow.
That's mean. She's God. Put the knife down. Put the knife down.
Hey, Marjorie, again,
Whoa.
really, we've already talked about this. HR had to talk. You can't just wave knives around the stage, Marjorie. This is it. I'm writing a formal report. I mean, this is ridiculous, man.
Wow.
If she's circling knives about.
Circling knives about.
You're insulting her math skills. Well,
Circling-
counting skills.
Anyways, as always, we like to have a quick discussion topic during Firefall Live. It's not necessarily to come to a decision, but it's just to really expand the topic a little bit because it's something that you guys have been talking about on the forums or something that we've heard in passing, and we want to kind of dive a little bit deeper, come to get the points across and really kind of expand that discussion a little bit. And one thing that's been happening on the forums recently is the discussion of exploits. And what is an exploit, what's not an exploit. In particular, the thing that has come up on the forums a lot is the placing thumpers in spots that are not necessarily the most conducive to creating fun gameplay.
SH2.
Yes.
That's the big one.
So around the Sunken Harbor Tower too, and the canyon there is pretty bad. So the question is that an exploit? Is placing a thumper there to garner XP? Well, so let's back up a little bit. Placing a thumper there does not get you the rewards that a thumper should be getting you.
Right, because it's just sifted earth.
Because you're typically only getting sifted earth. It's very rare that resources spawn in those locations. So the likelihood is that you're just getting sifted earth, and you're really just getting creatures, so XP and whatever the resources the creatures drop. So is it an exploit to place your thumper there to really spawn creatures for you to kill?
I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's not like you're not getting like super rare resources and stuff like that. So typically you're just like just creating mobs. So you're basically like creating an area where creatures spawn and get funneled. I mean, there are tons of areas like around New Eden or Coral Forest as it is now, where you could just place a thumper and it funnels. You'll just funnel creatures through a certain path. I think it's not that bad.
But at a certain point, it's really annoying. Like, I mean, if you have a ton of people doing that, I mean, I don't mind it. I don't think we should penalize them or anything. Hurt them. I know.
Get the knives.
I'm gonna go have sick Marjorie on them with her knives.
So I mean, some people here are actually saying that it creates a more difficult encounter for them because they place multiple thumpers and there's more things to kill. There's more things going on, but I'm gonna have to disagree with you guys because I played in that area. I've done the same thing. I've done the exploit. It isn't difficult to kill things, especially as an assault with splash damage. You basically everything kind of clumps at the bottom. You use shockwave, crater, or any other splash damage, and you just kill them all.
Burn jets.
So I wouldn't really call that a more difficult encounter.
Yeah.
Now it's not maybe fun. So I did say that they're not creating the most fun.
Yeah. In
my opinion, the most fun is when you get all the rewards for doing the same thing. Right. Like getting resources is the point of doing a thumper. Not necessarily just killing the creatures. Killing the creatures adds fun mechanic to mining for resources. But just placing a thumper where it's just getting sifted earth and then killing the creatures as they clump together doesn't really create a difficult encounter. I could see it being fun for some players. It's fun to get that XP, but I think it's the reward that is making the fun, not the act of killing.
Yeah.
Because just shooting in the same spot over and over and over again.
That doesn't seem fun to me.
Doesn't seem fun to me either. It surely is fun for some people.
Sure.
I mean, obviously.
I think. Well, I mean, one part about that I will say is fun is one day there were a ton of guys there, and there was a whole that whole little road was full of creatures. So me and Team Attack were just taking our LGVs through there and just driving as fast as we can. And I mean that's kind of fun, smash bugs with.
That's kind of creating a sandbox gameplay for yourself. Like we're gonna do this differently.
Yeah.
You're like I'm only gonna kill things if I'm gliding.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's creating fun for yourself.
That was a little fun for like 10 minutes. I just don't think that I could enjoy getting XP that way. I don't think they're doing themselves any favors by getting XP.
So something that came up in the office yesterday that we were talking about, and this is not a designer idea or anything, but we talked about. Is it right that the most XP you get for the thumper comes from the creatures that you kill, not from the thumper itself?
That's something we've been talking about for a while. I know we've mentioned that for a while. Like, what if the reward for completing a thumper was the completion percentage of the thumper when you send it back?
So you get tons of experience for sending the thumper back, and very little experience for killing the creatures, because the creatures are actually something that's trying to prevent you from completing something. And by completing that action is the thing.
However, with that, then that would make a spot like SH2 a little more of an exploit, because now you're putting it in a safe place, and then you're just going to send it back at a moment's notice. You're going to get maximum XP for putting it in a safe spot.
But maybe the XP lessens because you're only getting sifted earth.
Right.
You're not
by not
a
actually
major vein
gaining resources. You're not gaining experience.
So the XP lowers. So that that's how.
That's making it pretty complex. I think a little too
complex.
It's not
necessarily complex. Like most players, I can tell you, most new players don't place thumpers where it says trace resources found.
Right.
The only people that do that are people that understand the mechanics of getting XP and with the reward they'll get from it, because everybody else thinks of thumpers as a way to gain resources.
Right.
So really, it's not making it more complex, because the player, the new player, would never place down a for sifted earth only.
I agree, but it's now you're trying to figure out what's the resource quality, what's the percentage of the quality.
I don't think it has to be on quality. I think it just be resource. A resource. It doesn't have to be quality level. But I think that we already do different spawn tables for closer to the melding to make it more difficult if you're closer to the melding. Yeah. So we could base it based on location again. So the closer you are to Copacabana, the less. But the further you get out, the more you get. If you're in a chosen controlled territory, maybe you get even more. You could base it on that rather than resource quality, because resource quality players can't control.
No, they can't.
It's just random. You're random. It's placed in the world, and you kind of find it. You might have harvested all the great quality resources. But location of where you put your thumper can definitely be something that controls the difficulty level. But if it is people placing, so going back a little bit where people said they created a difficult encounter for themselves to place multiple thumpers in the area, do we need more difficult thumpers? We've talked about it. We have more difficult thumpers in the design build that we haven't turned on because they haven't been polished yet.
Right.
But is it time? Do we need to spend some time, create those difficult thumpers to give people that next step, right? I beat an advanced, I can control advanced, I can do advanced by myself. Do I need that elite thumper? we've often talked about the gap between improved and advanced, that there needed to be something there.
Yeah.
But it seems like if people really want to challenge, then advanced isn't hard enough. So maybe we need the next set. Anyway, so that's Thumper exploits, but this is also a topic about all exploits, because what's also been coming up on the forums are add-ons that have been providing abilities for people. And there's constant arguments back and forth about what makes an add-on an exploit versus what makes an add-on just a useful add-on. I come from a background where games were moddable, right? In Tribes, we had crazy UI mods that provided you information that
Scott still gives you shit about every
Well, the
time.
skiing script. I'm sorry, I'm not going to tap like this when I don't have to. It gets old after a while. I'm going to hold down a button and it's going to ski for me. Okay. They added that into the game later. That is a questionable one that came up in Tribes community. But I'm talking more about even the flag HUDs and things like that, like flag drops, flag picked up, how long until return.
Happy flag even?
That's information that you had in your head. You knew that the flag would return after 30 seconds. But having it on the UI helped you because you didn't have to remember it. You knew that, oh, it's got 5 seconds to return. But I've seen people in our own forums complaining that there are UI, they're add-ons that are creating information. They're just providing information. And that's an exploit. That's cheating.
I don't think so at all. I just don't. I mean, like, it's just information that I don't know. I don't see how that could be an exploit.
I'm a fan of, like, basically, if it's something so that it's like it's on for all users. So it's like you don't really need an add-on to get that information.
Right, but
so
you could get the add-on. Like you can.
So, for example, something like something like timing when a cooldown is going to come up.
Yeah.
Or a power-up's going to come up on Sunken Harbor or something like that.
Sure.
So there is like I've played with Tilter before, and he's like sitting there, he's counting it in his head, right? Like it's double damage is going to be up at this time, and he knows it, and he's right there every single time.
Well, double damage has a clock on it.
Well, before it had that. He had the count in his head.
I'm gonna count in my head by looking at the clock.
Oh my god. Anyway,
Frank is gonna get upset.
It doesn't. I mean, the point is like you can make an add-on to count for you and just have like a huge timer just sitting at the top right of your screen every single time. So it kind of takes away that kind of awareness.
Yeah, but
I don't know.
I think people did the same thing in Quake, right? Remembering when you could memorize your rotation, and the really, really great players had that memorization down. They had the rotation down for the map. Other players, it showed a clock, and they knew that okay, the heavy armor is going to spawn in, red armor is going to spawn in 10 seconds, and they know that red armor is going to spawn in 10 seconds. Does that make them a better player than the other guy who has a rotation and memorizes it?
I think it gives them too much of an assist to make up for at least a little bit of what they're missing. I don't think it fully makes up for.
So conversely, we're talking about informational pieces of the UI. I think conversely, there's the assisted aim things that we saw where you could aim and then it would show you where your plasma ball was going to hit based on the drop in the distance.
Yeah.
I absolutely think that that's an exploit and shouldn't be allowed. Right, like that is showing you where your shot's going to land, and that is absolutely
that's crossing the line.
That is crossing the line for me. The current issue with Sin, being able to see Sin always on by holding down the F. The problem there is not the holding down the F. It's the fact you can see Sin through walls, which is a design decision right now, and we're still arguing about. But if we did disable it so you couldn't see Sin through walls, and you modified your UI to be able to see Sin through walls, absolutely, I would consider that a cheat. I would consider that an exploit.
But so the Alt F trick, that one bug that we found, which got, I think John Su fixed it internally.
Well, but you can go into Lua and uncomment the F
right.
thing.
So basically Buddha told us that you just go into Lua and comment this. So having that, being able to comment that in Lua, is that an exploit, or is that a cheat to you, or like?
No, because from a design point, you're either holding down F or you're disabling it. That goes to the tapping spacebar to ski versus holding down the button to ski. I'm macroing something that would otherwise just cause my finger to be engaged in something. I don't consider that a cheat. I do. My personal opinion is that you shouldn't be able to see Sin through walls, because that comment only becomes useful because of that reason.
Right. Well, I'm just saying if you can't see Sin through walls.
Yeah.
So if we took that out, then is that, do you think that's a problem?
No, because then you're only going to see like 3 or 4 people that are in line of sight in Sin.
Okay.
So now there's 2 limitations. They have to be in line of sight and they have to be in Sin. Whereas right now, all they have to be in is in Sin, which pretty much everybody's in Sin on small maps. But the fact that you can see them through walls is a problem, right?
Yeah,
that's.
I agree.
That's the benefit to that. I know he's running around this way.
Yeah.
If he's already in line of sight, as a good player, I already know he's there. The Sin just makes him stick out a little bit more.
Yeah.
And so a player like Buddha or like Meta, they don't need Sin in order to know that there's a player over there.
Right.
They know there's a player over
just
there.
sense
They just sense it. They can feel the network.
I hear they
packets.
play with their eyes closed.
Yes, I hear that too. So I think there's a limitation there, and I think it's really on us as developers to put a limitation on the add-on, which we haven't done yet. Everybody knows that our UI is completely open to everything.
Right.
Sooner or later, we will need to get in the add-on system, a real add-on system that has access to certain things and not access to other things. And once that's in play, then it comes down to us really determining, is this a cheat, is this not a cheat? So I think it's an interesting discussion, and I'd love to hear more comments on it about what in the add-ons is an exploit versus what in the add-ons is just informational and should be allowed. Because that'll help us determine what do we disable, what do we enable, based on community feedback. We obviously have our own opinions internally, but I'd love to hear more opinions from the community. When it comes to the thumper placement exploits, we could very easily band-aid that and go paint those areas as non-placeable things.
Yeah.
I think the bigger issue is we're fixing why are people exploiting this, which I think is because of easy XP gains.
Yeah, I think it's
so
just
if we fix that, then there's less of an issue of people exploiting those spots. I'd much rather have people. I think of that as creative game mechanics in order to gain XP. Well, but if you don't want that creative game mechanic use, then you need to change the game mechanic, right? That you don't get XP that way. So that's my personal opinion. That's a discussion. Keep the discussion going, though. We'd love to hear more about it. These types of discussions are important for us because they help us know what you guys are thinking and what's going on. Obviously, keep the discussion very clean and don't yell at each other. But I think that's it for our discussion topic, which brings us to what you're all been waiting for, which is...
Do you even art, bro?
Oh, you came back to me. You're not supposed to come back to me.
Whoops. What?
There you go.
This is my camera time now. Darn it. Let's focus up over there. Goodness gracious. Like we don't have rehearsal or something.
We don't.
Do you even art, bro? Holy cow, we've got graphics now. It's amazing.
It is amazing.
It's like we're professionals that know what they're doing.
Almost.
Almost. Like this much. Because right after that, we went to the wrong camera. Okay, so big important news, obviously, with Do You Even Art, Bro. January's competition is over. We have selected a winner out of Draps. He had the Arclight song.
Yep.
Vitriolic had the Assault Frame, and then wow, okay, and Terracon had the Battle. Well, the winner by a landslide was Terracon, the Battle. Yay!
Congratulations, Terracon.
Yes, Terracon. It's a great artwork. We loved it, and
I like the butterfly in the belly of the chosen base.
What?
Yeah.
There's a glare on. I can't. Oh, I still see the sad face in there.
I can't unsee that either.
Oh,
that's great.
That hurts. No, you don't see that?
I see it. I just think we can move on from it.
Okay. So Terracon, you will be receiving your signed poster from the art department, signed, and that will get shipped out next week. Congratulations. And moving on to the next competition. So this is the first week for February.
Right.
We've actually got 4 weekends that we'll be able to do this.
Wow, February?
Yeah, 4 weeks.
Imagine that.
I know, finally. The first
short
time
month
is
too. That's weird.
I know. Okay, so the first week we've got for our first artwork is Funi. He has got the Chosen versus the Accord. This is kind of like a, I would assume like maybe like some kind of matchup, like a versus. Well, I mean it says versus, but
well, I'll tell you what.
Bravo, Tony.
I mean, yeah, it says.
It could almost be like some kind of battle.
Wow, imagine that.
All right, let's settle down. What do you guys think?
I think the Dark Slip already won because the Arclight can't fly and it can.
But the Dark Slip's also only this big, and
It doesn't matter. The Arclight can't fly.
Yeah.
It's still got its cannons.
It's got cannons, Frank.
Down. They can move.
Cannons. Okay, so moving on to the very next one. I like that. So this is, once again, this is from Alexander Scott. Now, he did not send it with a title. So if you don't send your artwork with a title, I'm going to name it for you.
Great.
And I have named this one Face. Yes.
Wow.
It is Face. What do you think, Frank?
I dig the art style. It's pretty
Right?
Cool. It's pretty cool.
I like it.
I like the text.
Matt?
Try to somewhat match
I think a backpack would be cool on a T-shirt.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Ooh. That's a cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. On
I
like
mean,
the
I'd
back.
move the guy, but just put the backpack on the back of a T-shirt.
That'd be tight.
We need to start doing that.
I'd wear that.
We need to start
You
doing
wear
that.
pretty much anything, though.
I mean, I really would. I'd wear a burlap sack if Red 5 gave me it.
Probably.
Wow.
I'd wear it
We could
proudly.
just put it in crayon, just a 5 on there. You'd be
I'd
like,
walk around the
"Awesome!"
office only wearing that.
Oh, God.
Hey, hey.
Mental image I did not need.
You'll get the
This
real
morning.
image. You'll get the real image. So next up we have, from stop laughing. This is from Elamis Nalo. Now the story with this one is the first time he sent it in was basically a picture of myself just sitting on the couch, and he had and I was going like this, and he had some text and added a little, like the paintbrush in my hand. And I told him, that's probably not exactly artwork, more of like just a Photoshop. So, you might want to put that on the James Macaulay thread. But instead, he drew it in paint, and so that's...
Why do you look like George Lucas?
I would like to know, more than why I look like George Lucas, why do I have a tumor on the right side of my body?
Not a tumor.
It's not a tumor.
It's not a tumor. Let me tell you.
Get down.
Listen to me. It's not a tumor.
Get to the jobber.
It's like I'm only fat on one side of my body. It's like it's the before and after picture on the same body. That's what's going on there.
Oh, man.
I don't get it.
What
but I mean, I like it. I'm flattered, let me tell you.
I actually think you look more like Bob Ross with a shaved head.
Like
a little
who?
darker.
What'd you say?
Bob Ross?
Not Bob Ross. What's his name?
That's Bob Ross.
Yeah, Bob Ross.
We'll make a happy tree.
Yeah.
You don't have, but he needs like the afro. Without the afro, it's
Yeah,
not
it's
Bob
just-
Ross.
I look like a prestigious man in
Hey,
this
can we
paint.
move on from this picture?
Okay.
That's really disturbing me.
All right, that's fine. Whatever. Okay, next up we have, yes. Feder Vogel's Dost Thou Even Sculpt Brethren. This is fantastic.
Oh my God.
This is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to beat a picture where Phobos is dressed like a princess
With a scepter.
with a scepter,
And an umbrella.
riding a Brontodon over a rainbow, with myself and Frank in tow. The only thing I don't like about this is my Green Bay Packer hat is flown off of my head, and that is a scary thought to
Don't
me.
worry, bro. I'll catch it.
Frank can catch it.
There's no possible way from the angle that you're in.
You don't
that
know.
you're-
He could be on an upward trend.
I don't. The physics
No,
are
I'll
not.
catch it, bro.
no.
Don't worry about it. I got you.
You're not going to
He'd,
catch
he'd
it.
have to drop his.
You
his
see, you already
pad.
lost your hat, so it's like the picture came true.
Yeah, you don't
You're
have
not
your
wearing
hat
it
on.
today.
Okay, slow down. It's in the car. I was having a good hair day, so I was like, I'm going to show off my hair.
What?
I don't know. I just didn't feel like wearing my
Okay.
hat.
Anyways,
Moving
voting.
on. So let's vote.
That's it, right? That's the last one.
This
That's
is
the
it.
last one.
Four weeks. So we pick a winner out of the four. Of course, I'm a huge fan of any artwork featuring myself. How could I not? I mean, but I'm gonna have to go with Feder Vogel. I like this. I like the colors. I like you
I like
in a
the
princess
colors.
get up. That was weird.
That was weird.
I shouldn't have.
No, I wouldn't
shouldn't
have said
said
that.
it like that.
Yeah.
My wording there could have been
Not
better.
ideal.
Yeah.
Not
Not
perfect.
I like the artist's
We're
idea.
gonna have to have a talk when we get back to the office.
Oh, it's gonna be one of those days.
It's gonna be a long Friday. Okay, so that's my vote.
Frank.
I'm gonna have to agree with Tony for once.
For once.
I think it's the first time I agreed with you on fan art.
Okay, you just have poor taste.
But
I'm picking all the winners.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna go with FadedPez as well. I love the. I just love this picture. It's great.
I think we're gonna have to make it unanimous because I think it's funny.
I think this is the first unanimous.
This is the first unanimous.
Yeah.
FadedPez,
It's really great.
bringing us together.
Literally.
Are we holding hands right now?
I'm not gonna reach that far.
not.
All right,
No.
that's fine. So FadedPez, you're going on to the next stage of the contest. You will be put with the 4-week winners of February for a chance to win the signed Firefall poster from the art department. So congratulations.
Yay.
And yes, and thank you to everyone that submitted artwork. Sorry you guys didn't move on to the next week. Please continue to submit your artwork. We definitely have enough for the rest of February, but after that, we're dried up. So send in that artwork, community@Red 5 Studios.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys. We really appreciate it. Again, Xeno's blog will be posted up right after we get back to the office, so you guys can read that, and then we'll follow that up with show notes. Thank you very much to Dave Nikdel. What is it? He's doing something weird behind the camera.
He's touching himself like a big gorilla.
All right, come on.
Oh,
Big guy.
Look at, oh, he's so big. Oh,
Whoa!
whoa. I'm gonna miss you, bro.
I'm gonna miss you, bro.
Holy McJeebus.
Wow.
That was a scary.
I'm gonna miss the ceiling to our set.
The big announcement, for those of you guys knowing, was the Xeno blog, guys. That was the big announcement. We've been waiting like since December for that thing. It is now February. That's the big announcement.
Yes.
So expect to see the blog up really quickly when we get back to the office. Talking about patches, we do plan to do a patch next week, but it's mostly polish items and bug fixes that we've been working on. None of the new features that we just talked about. So keep an eye out for that. We will see you guys next week, every Friday, 10 a.m.
Yep.
If you like the show, be sure to follow us on YouTube and Twitch. If you don't like the show, let us know why. We'd love to adjust it. If you want to have a particular person or particular job you'd like us to bring on to the show, let us know and we'll grab that person from the office. So see you guys next week, Fridays at 10.